Hello everybody, my name is Sunbrigade and welcome back to another quick guide about Kaneki, and today we're going to be looking at his best add-ons, his best perks, and the best way to play him. I'm just going to show you all the things and then we're going to hop in a bot round. I'm going to show you some tips and tricks and then you should get better at Kaneki at the end of the day. So Kaneki's first add-on is Fresh Coffee. Now, this add-on was a brown add-on last patch, and now it's a purple add-on, or a very rare add-on, which kind of tells you how incredibly strong this one was. It increases your kagune leap, which is your dash, speed by 14%. Might not seem much, but this is massive. You're gonna be flying across the entire map. So yeah, just don't underestimate this. This is incredibly strong, probably his best add-on, especially with this. This one increased the kagune's reach by 1 meter. I think last patch it was 2 meters, which was, you could feel the difference, let's just say that. And now it's 1 meter. It got nerfed. This got nerfed too by, having the rarity increased. But these two, this is like a dream combo. If you run these, you'll perform so much better than without these. Now let's go to his add-ons. This build is pretty sweaty, I'm gonna be honest, but that's kind of the point of the video. I'll show you the best way to play, or the best add-ons and perks for this character. First one is Bamboozle. You're gonna be vaulting quite a bit, and Bamboozle just blocks hit window, which makes the survivor suffer a little bit more because they have less ways to outplay you. The next one is Grim Embrace. The reason why Grim Embrace and not something like Pain Res, you could change them. I think Grim Embrace is just better because you hook them, all the gens get shut off, I guess, or the entity takes over and they can't work on that. This gives you plenty of time to just dash around, which you will a lot. Once again, with these ones you will be flying across the map and you can just go to your next target and just synergize perfectly. But like I said, you could use Pain Resistance. I would just not use something like Call of Brine or any perks where you actually need to go to the gen and kick it. Then the next perk would be Corrupt Intervention, just an incredibly strong perk. The 3 generators that are furthest from you are blocked for 120 seconds, which is incredibly long, and it gives you so much time to find a survivor and get in your enrage mode, especially paired with our next perk, which is Lethal Pursuer. At the start of the match, you see everybody for 9 seconds. Free info, you know where they are, you can start snowballing like crazy. Yeah, so anyways, we'll hop in the match. I'll see you guys there, and then I'll show you some tips and tricks, and I hope the survivors or these bots here don't absolutely rush my ass. So, finally a match. Sadly it's RPD, which isn't, the best map. Now we can just start instantly. I see everybody with Lethal Pursuer. I can dash and then miss. But it's fine because he throws down the pallet, god pallet. I forgot they nerfed his lock-on aimbot, whatever you want to call it. But it's still pretty good. He's incredibly, how should I say it? I wouldn't say buggy, it's just very clunky, especially, which will be my first tip, or like a first little heads up. If you're close to anything, you can't dash, and this is already too close. This is too close. You see, you have to be pretty far away from something to dash to it, which can get incredibly frustrating, especially for maps as small as these. This is fine, we didn't hit her, but we got the enraged meter on her. Now one thing, if she hopefully throw down a pallet, okay, I think she will now, can do this, dash over, and the power just instantly cancel, and you're already there and can. You see what I'm seeing here? It's just crazy. And this, you know, if you're not in enraged, it's gonna take longer. And another tip is hitting the survivors actually, because if you hit them, you'll be able to you kind of stun them for a second when you vault the pallet, and then your power instantly casts. There's no counterplay, except like standing there and just waiting. You know, I'm getting looped by a bot right now, but that's fine, especially for something like this. Oh, that didn't work out. Well, the bots all have kind of, you know, some sort of wall hacks, and it's definitely not because I'm trash. But you see what I'm seeing. His walls are crazy, especially for something like the windows. You vault over, you hit them, they're kind of stuck. What happens? Bamboozle takes over, voila, and they can't do much anymore. Can you hit them over this? Wow, these bots are actually better than me as a survivor. That's crazy. Or as a killer even. But yeah, you get the gist of it. Kaneki is incredibly strong when there is like a pallet involved. And that example, like obviously I played that very bad there, but let's say if I go here, she drops the pallet. The second she drops, she's pretty much here, like right next to the pallet on the other side. You do this, she gets a little quote-unquote CC'd. You vault the pallet super fast. I didn't even realize I'm not in enraged. But then imagine if you were enraged at that point. You would go over, she'd be running, she would be here, your power would already cancel itself, you could hit her. It's that easy. And if she's like, okay, you know, he dashed over, like, I can't go anywhere, I'll just go back. No, if they're close to the pallet, they get hit. It's... yeah, like, I can't be the only one that just thinks that's crazy. Another thing is, when you're in enraged mode, I didn't mean to hit him, but when you're in enraged mode, it is like recommended to actually use your ability as a mobility tool. Well, if it would work. Imagine if I was enraged here, but even if I'm not enraged, imagine if I was enraged, I would literally catch his ass before he made it to the window. It is crazy. And it doesn't, like, it's incredibly strong when you vault a pallet or a window, but you can use it even outside of that. Like if I could go into enraged, hopefully. Like this is what I mean when I say he's incredibly clunky. You hit them, start screaming a little, and then I can just chase them normally, the way you would. The way he went here. Well, that's kind of... well, that's not the best, but you know, like Bamboozle here would go crazy actually. But you know what I mean. If it was any other map than RPD or Larry's or anything like that, you could use your ability for insane mobility. Oh, that was as because if you dash, did you press control? That's fast. It doesn't seem fast, but it is fast. It is quite fast. And I think until they actually nerf like Kaneki's enraged wall speed, whatever, he's gonna be pretty strong. Because his wall speed is insane, especially when enraged. It is, you know, I don't want to say the word, but you know, kind of unbalanced. So these are like the main things. And then obviously, like, your first hit is free. You don't have to think about the first hit. Definitely nerfed it. I think it was like, how much was it? Like 97%, which, like, I don't even know why it was that, like, forgiving with the hit. But 97% was reduced, or something like that. And now it's way harder to hit it. It's not like the hardest thing ever, but it is way harder. You can, like, before the survivor could be there somewhere, I could aim here, I would hit them. Now I actually have to try to aim a little bit. It's still pretty free. Then you dash to them, you get your first free hit, you know, do your thing. Where was the boon? What the fuck is... These spots are incredibly freaky. But yeah, that just makes... I wouldn't say Kaneki's like the strongest killer. Obviously not. I think as long as Nurse exists, he's never gonna be on that level. Look, imagine if I was enraged. I dash over, he's dead. Because my ability would already be done. I could go to him, and he'd be dead. Like, even without enraged, I was like caught up pretty fast. But yeah, I would say he's incredibly strong. Is he as strong as Nurse? No. Maybe as Blight? I wouldn't say so. I think he is way easier than Blight, like a way lower skill of lore. But they're... Like with Blight, you hit them and then you can use your dashes to do another hit. And with Kaneki you can't down with your ability. But he has some insane, like, vaulting speed. The main issue with that is... it's incredibly buggy. He's incredibly buggy. Or not buggy, how should I say? It just feels weird. Like, first of all, you can't dash when you're close. So even if you want to kind of slide, that doesn't work. Sure, whatever. And the window vaults, if you've played this character, you know how incredibly bad it is. Because sometimes it just spazzes out, it won't let you vault. Sometimes you dash way past it and you vault. Like, it's very inconsistent. I think it's always gonna be inconsistent, knowing behavior. But like I said, you get the gist of it. This is Kaneki's bread and butter build pretty much, especially the add-ons. With the build itself, you can change it up the way you want to. Like Bamboozle, for example, it might not be as necessary, but it's a good addition that you see. And then the rest, like, I feel like these two are just incredibly strong on a fast killer like this. These add-ons, like, just take them. If you have enough of them, take them. They're gonna make your life so much easier. So much easier. Elbait. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, you know, a quick TLDR. If you're enraged, you're faster when vaulting, you know, pallets, windows, use that to your advantage. You're incredibly fast. You can shut down some incredibly strong loops by vaulting because of how fast you go out of your power. Second tip is use your kagune leap when enraged as mobility. Once again, you dash. While dashing, you cancel your ability, and by the time you're there, like, you still have your little cooldown, but it's so much faster, and you go out of that cooldown pretty fast as well. So yeah, that's it. First hit is pretty easy, like I said. You don't have to really think about that, and then the second hit is where it kind of struggles. And you know, on smaller loops, using your ability isn't the best, because, you know, if you vault over a pallet on a small loop, they can just loop around it because of how small it is. So it's best to just mind game there, you know, go back and forth, do your thing. So yeah, anyways, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, the comment, you know, whatever you like. Dislike it if you didn't like it. Leave some feedback. I appreciate all of it. Yeah, I hope you'll stick around and we'll see each other in the next video. Bye bye.